Okay, looks like I'm finally online. All right, hey people, welcome back to my KS Noah stream, and we're gonna continue where we left off. I was completely winded. My lungs struggled to stroke air in and out. My agonized panting echoed throughout my room. I plopped down in my computer chair. My body and clothes were completely drenched in sweat. What the fuck had just happened? Another one of my delusions? My nausea was becoming unbearable. Trying to relieve it, I grabbed a cola from the fridge and chugged it as fast as I could. The delusion was way too realistic, even for my usual standards. And boy, was it gruesome. Too gruesome. I was still out of breath. Could a simple delusion really do this to me? No. It definitely couldn't. I felt an unconscious sensation in my right hand. I've been clenching my fist so hard, my fingers had nearly turned white. I hadn't even noticed until just now. I slowly opened my hand, one finger at a time, all while my heart pounded like a drum. Lying in the palm of my hand was a single steak. Terrified by the sight of it, I instinctively turned and threw it against the wall. That was the steak from before. Well, I definitely did pick one up off the ground earlier, but how is that even possible? Had it all been just a delusion? I don't know. I don't know. It can't be possible. It can't be. It can't be. Can't be. At my wit's end, I started pacing around my room. I needed to figure out whether that nightmare had been real or just another delusion. That was the plan until I stepped on the CD case and lost my balance. In a panic, I reached out for something to keep myself from falling flat on the floor. I barely managed to find something to latch onto, but unfortunately, that something was the shelf of my waifus. Before I had the chance to regret it, it was already too late. In the end, no matter how hard I tried, I wasn't able to stop myself from falling ass first onto the floor. And to make matters worse, several of my beautifully arranged figures came tumbling down on top of me. God damn it. This was the worst. Everything about this was just the worst. I let out a groan as I rose to my feet and had to make sure my figures were safe. It's not clean in two. Why did it have to be one of the expensive ones? I paid the premium online for this. I tried putting the two halves of the sword back together, but I've never been able to fix it perfectly, even if I used glue. Any value it once had is now gone. I turned to my chair and kicked it out of sheer rage. Tears began to well in my eyes. Why did I have to go through all this? What had I ever done to deserve this? I fell onto the floor and just sat there for a while, heartbroken, staring dejectedly at my now sortless Ignis stand. Once the storm of anger and confusion had passed, I found my mind filling with the visions of her face, along with that Mother Nar I'd seen. I had actually been physically holding one of those steaks, which meant it couldn't have been a delusion. It had been all real. I really wanted to deny it, but there was no way I could. But tomorrow, it was sure to be all over the media. I really, really didn't want to do anything to do with this nightmare. There was no way associating with that girl. No, that demon could bring anything but catastrophe for me. Hell, we only just met for the first time, and there had already been a disaster. After all, I brought back home a critical piece of evidence from that incident, one of the stakes that had been used in the murder. I wouldn't be surprised if that on its own was enough to make me a suspect. And if things weren't already bad enough, that demon had seen my face. There was no way out of this mess. At this rate, that demon was going to. No, forget about that. For now, I should focus on getting things sorted in my head, for my own sake. If I value my own life, I really need to figure things out.
間違いない。あの写真は事件の予告メッセージみたいなものだったんだ。
Otherwise, there'd been no way the image could have matched up perfectly with the crime scene. First, she edited the image together. Then she recreated it in real life, right down to the finest detail. That was how the crime had to happen. No. In her eyes, I bet it was more of a work of art than a crime. By the way, this guy, Taku, totally forgot about Grim sending him a crudely drawn picture that looks like a shittier version of the exact scene that he's seen. So I can't believe he totally forgot about it. But it's kind of understandable because it's like some shitty drawing. But you know, if it's the first instance you see someone give a suggestion that you'll see that kind of scene, you know, it's kind of I don't know. Maybe that's me, but Taku's I mean, no, I get it. Taku's still in the state of panic. Anyway, she seemed like the kind of psycho dedicated to finishing any job without nothing but sheer perfection.
頭がおかしいよ。でもどうしてそれを僕に。そもそもあの女はナイトハルトが僕だってどうやって知った？僕の名前をどうやって知った？
What was I supposed to do? That demon would definitely come to kill me soon. If she already knew my name, email, and all that stuff, then there was a very good chance she already knew my home address too. I curled up in the fetal position in my chair. The image that twisted murder was etched into my mind. How could I stay calm when I could end up that way too?
死にたくない、死にたくない、死にたくない、死にたくない、死にたくない、死にたくない、死にたくない、死にたくない、死にたくない、死にたくない、死にたくない。
大丈夫。
There it lies sideways on my desk, facing toward me with a smile.
タッキー、あなたはこの部屋に引きこもってればいいんだよ。したらあの悪魔だって手出しできないっしょ。そのうちに警察がうまく捕まえてくれるって。それまでは誰も信じちゃダメ。誰の言葉にも耳を傾けちゃダメ。悪魔ってさ、人の心の隙間をついてくるのが好きなんだよね。油断すんのはノー。できるっしょ、タッキー。
でもセラ、
逃げるが勝ちってよく言うし、3次元のことなんてきれいさっぱり忘れちゃえばいいのにさ。あなたには一切関係ないことだって思えば気が楽っしょ。関係ないこと考えたって無駄無駄さ。いいこと教えてあげる。引きこもりって最強なんよ。だって誰にも会わないっしょ。つまり誰にも攻撃されない。これぞ最強の自己防衛方法なわけさ。だからタッキーは引きこもりになるべきなんさ。簡単っしょ。
そうかもしれない。
Just what I expect from my waifu. I could always count on her to give me the best advice. Having regained my peace of mind, I reached out my hand for Sabertan, lightly grasping her by my slim waist. Even as our faces drew closer, her smile never wavered.
ありがとうセーラ、おかげで勇気が出てきた。そうだよ、 3次元なんてクソくらいだ。あの悪魔だって僕みたいなキモオタのことなんて気にも留めてないさ。僕は安全だ。安心して毎日演奏したり好きなアニメを見てれば何の問題もないんだ。
でもさっき言ったみたく油断は禁物だぞ。
うん、分かってるよ。
I couldn't trust anyone. I wouldn't listen to a single word they had to say. All I had to do was be cautious of everything in the 3D world. As long as I did that, everything would be just fine.
セイラにそこまで心配してもらえて僕は幸せだわ。さてと、それじゃ気分直しにエンスロット。
ライアンクロス、ライアンクロス、約束は今。ライアンクロス、ライアンクロス、果たされるから。ライアンクロス、ライアンクロス、解き放たれた。ライアンクロス、ライアンクロス、週末。
Late into the night, the sound of a beautiful voice could be heard throughout Miyashita Park. It was coming from a pedestrian bridge that crossed over Meijidori. A steady flow of cars passed underneath. But in spite of this girl known as Vess showed no sign of being affected by the noise. She simply kept on singing, leaning back against the handrail of the bridge.
月夜の光が示された従者よ。
On any normal day, if she were to sing on the street in public like this, she would surely attract hundreds of onlookers. But right now, nobody was listening to her sing. For Fess was deliberately concealing her presence, blending into the stillness of the night.
この場所へつながる幻の道。
This way, she could loiter quietly until the moon left the sky behind. By doing so, by becoming one of the darkness, she felt if she could free herself with the corrupt atmosphere of Shibuya, if only for a moment. That was what Fess felt to be true.
叫びはいつしか沈黙に変わって。
Suddenly, Fess looked up to the night sky. The clouds covering it were starting to clear up, little by little, leaving space for the moonlight to shine through it in their wake. But sadly, any and all starlight was completely drowned out by the dazzling neon of Shibuya.
落ちてゆく安息風に手と手をつないで。
Fess halted her song and slowly reached her hand on out toward the sky.
その目、誰の目？
About half a day passed, and I spent pretty much every hour of it in Baselard. I'd hardly even made time to eat. I immersed myself fully into the role of Nineheart, and in the process completely erased every trace of Nishijo Takumi. In the ESO, I was an absolute god. No demon could ever strike fear into my heart, and I was respected by everyone. If only I could live in such a comfortable world for all eternity. I was certain I'd be happier, far happier that way.
おおエンジェルハイロ来たこれ超レアすげえ。 これは早速使わないと。装備。おお、キャラの見た目変わった。すげえ、これすげえ。見て見ろってグリム。あ、ナイトハルト自重しろ。うっせえ、死ねえよ負け組。ちょっと街に戻って見せびらかしてこようかな。
お兄。
Finally, another legendary item to add to my collection. Naturally, I was stoked when the fresh from earlier had completely blown away.
お兄ってば。
The Angel Circlet had a drop rate of 0.00001%. It was so rare that some players thought it was unobtainable.
おーい、当てろ。
Well, its stats were shit, so it was pretty much a cosmetic item, but that was good enough. People could tell you had an Angel Circlet just by looking at you, which was enough to make anyone green with envy.
やった。ナイトハルトがまた一歩神に近づいた。
ほら、当てろ。
Shut up! Who the hell's been banging on my door for so goddamn long? Just when I finally managed to get a hold of a rare item, this happened. Couldn't the man enjoy his victories for 1 second?
バカ鬼。
That voice. The moment I realized who it was, my mood instantly took a nosedive. There was no mistaking it. That was the voice of an assassin sent by my parents. My Emoto, Nanami. What a pain in the ass.
当てないとひどいんだからね。
Well, shit. Here come the storm to rain on my parade. I really didn't want to let her in, but if I didn't, my parents would probably get on my case about it. Stop living alone and move back in with us, they'd say. I'd ignore them if I could, but my dad basically owned this building, so it'll take just a snap of his fingers for him to kick me out. This was the worst.
お兄。
Shut the fuck up! I swear, her voice was so shrill it could shatter glass. The bang just didn't stop, and since the metal walls were pretty thin, the sound echoed loudly all throughout the container. Nanami was well aware of that. In fact, that was exactly why she was doing it. In the end, I had no choice. I reluctantly removed the padlock and opened the door.
あ、やっと出てきた。生存確認。
This baby-faced runt was my little sister. She was a year younger than me.
呼んでるんだから返事くらいしてよね。お兄死んじゃったかもって思ったじゃん。
Of course, the first thing out of her mouth was bitching. To make matters worse, she was standing there with her hands on her hips, like a bratty little shit she was. The splitting image of irritating. Her existence brought me nothing but suffering.
うわ、相変わらず部屋の中汚。ちょっとは片付けなよ。
Nanami just waltzed right on in without even asking. What the hell did she think she was doing? What did she think she could get away with whatever she wanted just because she was my little sister? And to think there were people out there who seriously believe that little sisters were moe. I always wanted to tell those guys how much of an epic fail that was. Well, even if she was my sister, she certainly didn't look unsavory. She had a lolly body type, so I couldn't see why they might make her damn popular in some circles. But as her older brother, I didn't care about that. I wasn't into her at all. As far as I'm concerned, she was downright repulsive, not to mention immature. Not to say I didn't like lollies, well, of course, just only the 2D ones, hoo hee hee hee.
カビクサ。お兄の部屋って相変わらず不潔。掃除しろっていつも言ってるじゃん。どうしてしないの？ 掃除してくれる彼女なんかいないだろうし、鬼ってズボラだからこうなるのは目に見えてるけどさ。こうなったらやっぱりナナが掃除しに来てあげるしかないかな。
だが断る。
なんでよ。
A fucking reference to JoJo, man. Anyway.
お前に部屋荒らされたくない。
きっとそれがわざわざ生存確認しに来てあげてる妹に言うセリフ。
Maybe things would change if you showed your older brother a little respect. And why should I be grateful that you're checking on me? I sure as hell didn't ask for that.
まったく、なんでこんな面倒ばっかりかけさせる兄弟と血つながってるんだろう。たまに嫌になっちゃうよ。はあ、なんか喉乾いちゃった。飲み物もらうね。
Nanami walked right past me and over to the minute fridge, once again acting like she owned the place.
コーラしかないじゃん。ミルクティーとか用意しといてよ。
知らんがな。
しょうがないな。じゃあコーラもらうね。
Surprise, fucking surprise. He went ahead and did as she pleased. This isn't called permission, you know. She grabbed a bottle of cola from the fridge, one I had already drank from. No less than after only a second of hesitation, she cracked it open and gulped it down. Her soft throat rose and fell seductively, pumping the soda down with an audible gulp. Gulp,
せめ
gulp.
てコップ使えよ。
She had seriously just drunk straight from the bottle, even though she was a girl? What a disgrace. This was exactly why Treaty sucked ass. As soon as Nanami finished her drink, she went right back to pouting like before. Though, was it just me, or did it seem like she was blushing a little?
だってナナはお兄と関節キスしたかったんだもん。
And just like that, she dropped the bombshell. She still kept her pouty attitude, but now she was looking straight at me. I was paralyzed. My little sister was on the verge of tears. All I could do was just stand and stare. Had I just tripped a flag? What kind of eroge? Was I on the little sister route?
軽蔑した。だとしたらナナ悲しくなっちゃうな。言っとくけど鬼相手じゃなきゃこんなことしないんだからね。
Nanami's voice gradually lowered.
鬼のバカ。
Her voice was a faint murmur as she hung her head in shame. There wasn't a single trace of her typical bratty attitude.
ねえ鬼、関節だけじゃ嫌だな。
Hearing that, I tried to gulp, but the saliva got caught in my throat and refused to go down. And with that, I was completely cornered, though I still didn't really understand when Nanami went.
鬼とキスしたいわ。鬼が欲しいよ。
Nanami took a step closer to my petrified body. What should I do? I've always seen Nanami as this obnoxious little brat, but right now, my heart was pounding out of my chest.
いいじゃん。16年間も我慢してきたんだよ。
Nanami reached her arms out and wrapped them around my neck.
キスして。
She was almost begging, then she raised her chin ever so slightly and closed her eyes. And my answer was,
いや、その理屈はおかしい。
Jesus Christ! I zoned out and let my delusions run wild again. I never felt so disgusted with myself in my life. Like, Oh my god, barf. Just totally barf. And then I started thinking, maybe if we weren't blood related and she fell a little more into the cute little sister archetype, I wouldn't be such a virgin loser.
どうしたの？
After finishing her cola, Nanami shot me a confused look. I've been acting weird because of my delusion just now, and Nanami had noticed. Snap out of it. I took a deep breath and focused the disgusting thoughts out of my mind. Of course.
もう帰れよ。
You did your whole survival check thing. Now your job here is done, right? Why do you feel the need to barge in here every time?
鬼、冷たい。
Seemed like I managed to offend her somehow. She first listened to pout and glared at me. I was already done with her shit, though, so I looked away.
せっかく心配して様子を見に来てあげてるのに。鬼ってずっとここに引きこもって誰とも喋らずに一日を終えちゃうことだってあるんでしょ？女の子と話す機会だってどうせ全くないんだよね。
Shut up! Stop making fun of me, you stupid bitch! I'm not into treating girls, so why would I ever bother talking to them?
言ってみれば鬼と話す女の子はナナだけってことじゃん。だからさ、もっとナナのこと大事にしてよ。そしたら女の子との接し方もちょっとは分かってくるはずだし。
While she was nagging, Nanami picked up one of my figures, Hikaru-tan from the Suicide for Hikari, and started staring at it. Damn it, don't touch my waifus without asking. If you leave even a single fingerprint on them, I will actually beat the shit out of you.
あと、お兄は自分のことにもっと気を使って。こんなお人形さんにうつつを抜かしてる場合じゃないよ。ナナはお兄の死体の第一発見者になんかなりたくないからね。
The hell she was trying to imply. It felt like she was becoming more and more like mom lately, which meant that she had gotten even more fucking annoying. Shut the fuck up.
いいから帰れよ。
そんなに帰れ帰れ言わないでよ。お兄のバカ。まだこっちには用事が残ってるの。
She was getting more hysterical by the minute. If I made her any angrier, things would get out of hand. So, chill out, me.
携帯買いに行こう。
What had she just said?
お父さんがそうしろって。お兄が携帯持てばいつでも生存確認できるじゃん。お金はナナが預かってきたから今から買いに行こうよ。今時携帯持ってない人なんていないよ。時代に取り残されちゃうよ。
Shut the fuck up already, teen trends chasing bitch. I'm not the one who lives under the rock here, you wrong sider. The internet gives me all the information I need. Well, she was right about one thing. These days, it was normal for a high school student to have a phone, and I didn't have one. Of course, that was because I never used it anyway. I didn't have anyone to call or text, and I didn't want to pay for something I wasn't going to use.
だから行こう。
Nanami put the figure back on the shelf and turned her attention back to me.
どうせお兄は機種とかわかんないだろうからナナと同じ機種にしちゃいなよ。
As she said that, she took out her own phone out of her bag and started showing it off like it was some precious heirloom.
ほら、これがナナの。色が可愛いでしょ。ついでだからストラップも同じのあげるよ。
という手抜きキャラ。
The character hanging from the phone strap was far from cute. It looked horrible. There was no way a professional had designed it. It looked like one of those shit-tier, ugly cute characters, or like one of those official government mascots.
手抜きじゃないもん。ゲロカエルにはこういうデザインなの。今すっごく流行ってるんだからね。はあ、女子高生の流行なんてお兄が知ってるわけないか。そういうとこを直せば少しは女子と会話成立すると思うよ、きっと。 よ。
God damn it, just shut the fuck up already, trend chasing bitch. The fuck is this Garo Froggy shit? There's no way this thing is popular. Anyone with half a brain could tell you that. She didn't realize she was just being played by the media. It was honestly sad.
っていうか、今はゲロカイルの話じゃなくて、いいから携帯買いに行こうよ。あ、別にお揃いがいいとか言ってるわけじゃないからね。家族で同じ機種だと基本料金が割引されるサービスがあるからだよ。家族で持ってないのはお兄だけなんだからね。
いらない。
なんで？お金はお父さんが出してくれるんだよ。
必要ない。
I mean, nuisance if anything. If I had a phone, Mom would definitely call every day. And if I kept ignoring those calls, they'll keep sending little Mrs. Sass and Nanny over here to lay on the pressure. My family life would become even more of a living hell, and I had to start being way more careful as a result. I couldn't let that happen.
もう信じらんないよ、このバカ鬼。もう帰る。
ああ、そうしてくれ。
I opened the door for her to finally leave, but Nanami didn't budge an inch. She just shot her arms down to her sides, looking even more upset than before.
ほんとバカ、アホバカ鬼。駅まで送ってくれるとかしてよ。
嫌だね。
She never acted like this before. Why did she suddenly want me to walk her to the station? What was so special about today?
だって最近殺人事件とかで物騒じゃんか。こういう場合心配するのが兄弟ってもんでしょ。
Yesterday's events were resurrected in my mind once again, if only for a second. I frantically shook my head, trying to get that gruesome scene out of my mind, and I just barely managed to.
どうでもいいし。
Either way, it wasn't like the new gen murderer was the twist that did not attack some brat like Nanami.
ありえない。ナナが死んでもいいって言うんだ。
Nanami was tearing up. You see, like my words have finally got into her. Sirs, you're right. Maybe you should think twice about disturbing my peace and quiet next time. This is just my own way of taking a little revenge for once. Get fucked.
バカ、死んじゃえ。お兄なんか猟奇的に殺されて。
Before we continue, I just want to comment. Fuck this guy. He had the best emoto there is. Fuck this guy. But this is our protagonist. Fuck this guy. Well, I totally understand the bullshit with siblings, but you know, that was a good emoto, man. Oh well. Anyway, let's continue. This is our protagonist. What are we gonna do? After splitting those parting words at me, Nanami pushed past me and ran away as fast as she could. Seemed like the storm had finally passed. The room grew peaceful and quiet once again. This was how things should always be around here. My own perfect little world, where stupid bullshit wasn't allowed. I sat down in front of my PC, shaking my mouse a little clear, Sierra-Tan screensaver. I tried to take a sip of the cola bottle on my desk, but it was empty.
しまった。これ、ナナミがさっき飲んだやつだ。
Oh god, I just had an indirect kiss with my little sister. I'm gonna puke. Maybe if she was a little more charming, it would have been the kind of Erogi-like situation I could fap to. But with that horrible personality, no chance. If anything, it only made me more flaccid. I put the cap back on the bottle, then threw it at the big garbage bag in the corner of my room. But they didn't go in the bag, instead bouncing off the wall, rolling under my bed. Well, whatever. Anyway, time to drive straight back to ESO. I just want to forget about the annoying real world as ASAP. But it wouldn't last long. As one day later, my immersion would be broken once again. My mental state had been on the up and up lately, but the moment I stepped outside, it all came crashing down again. Damn it. Why did I have to go to school today? It was so early.
なんで今日なんだよ。最低最悪だ。
But it wasn't like I could take the day off. If I did, my minimum attendance chart would get all thrown off, and then I wouldn't be able to graduate.
卒業って。何を卒業するって言うんだよ。
I was the one insisting on going through it, but I still couldn't help but complain. As I approached the wealthy district of Matsunami, I finally realized I had been feeling a gaze for a while now. But this wasn't the usual God's gaze. I didn't feel any shivers in the back of my neck. Oh, there's a long-haired girl with blonde hair chasing after me. Ooh, who could that be? Anyway, as I turned the corner, I took a quick, tiny glance behind me, and I caught a glimpse of a girl wearing a Sume uniform. No way. Was it the demon from yesterday? I instantly lost my composure, and an extreme amount of tension overtook my body, and my walking became stulted. A moment, wait, I need to check something really quickly. Okay, we're good. Good. I thought I kind of messed up with something. Because I had to change, like, the noise canceller I was using. Wait, give me a second. I need to check something really quickly. Okay, sorry, I really got distracted there. Let me continue. A moment ago, it was a quiet morning like any other, but now it felt like the entire world was out to get me. I could faintly hear the sound of birds chirping atop the phone lines, and I could also hear music from the morning news played in nearby homes. In a peaceful scene like this, where crime would seem totally out of place, I came close to imagining myself getting brutally murdered. Okay, I needed to calm down. It wasn't like I'd clearly seen her face or anything. There wasn't nothing strange about seeing Sume students walking behind me. We were headed for the same destination after all. I would be fine. Even though school was straight ahead, I decided to take a hard right. I was worried about what could be behind me, but I desperately suppressed the urge to turn around. I needed to keep my cool and act natural. My heart was pounding, but I kept walking. I continued for about a minute or so until I decided I couldn't take it anymore. I slowly turned around. it's so obvious. She couldn't really work on her like hiding skills, you know. She could really peek. You could see her entire self move. Anyway, we made eye contact for a second, but I panicked and turned her back around. Why was she following me? The spat was obviously the long way to school. That meant she had to be tailing me. Either way, I'd never seen her before. She definitely wasn't the demon from yesterday, that was for sure. She was wearing glasses, and the demon girl hadn't been. The fact alone was enough to calm me down. I decided to head straight for school. I had to skip my routine breakfast at the park because of it, but oh well.
くそ女子 A 名
To me, you're just some background character. Pedestrian 1, girl A. So stay out of my way, god damn it. After I entered the school, girl A disappeared. I'd expected her to continue tailing me, but instead she turned and headed toward the third year classrooms. Maybe she was never tailing me in the first place. Maybe I was just overthinking it. But still, it was definitely weird that she'd taken the same detour that I had. Did she hate me for some reason? Had I done something to piss her off? I didn't think so. No, I couldn't have. I hardly ever went to school, and when I did, I tried to keep my presence very minimal. So then, what the hell was she trying to accomplish? Somehow, I'd managed to make it through the torture known as school. On my way back, I made my usual stop at Cafe. I took my seat in room 37. Nearby rooms were normally always empty, but surprisingly, that wasn't true today. There was someone in room 36. The door was closed, but the light from the desk lamp peeked through the cracks. I couldn't help but click my tongue when I entered my room. Having someone sit nearby posed a bit of a problem. Whenever I did things like chatting online, I had a tendency to talk to myself sometimes. Well, whatever. Time to just ignore it and log on to ESO already. As long as I make a conscious effort to stay quiet, it shouldn't really be an issue.
だよこいつら
Irritated, I slammed my hand down on the keyboard. It had only been 2 hours since I started playing, and I was already this close to throwing myself off a cliff. The people I'd party up until today were total noobs. I'd been trying my best to help them, but one of them went all Leroy Jenkins and just died repeatedly. Now this is a reference I haven't heard in ages anyway. Then the other one was a mage, but he didn't cast any healing spells at all. As a result, we kept getting pull party-wide over and over again. And yet, instead of figuring out why it was happening, all they ever did was continue to piss and moan in chat. Fuck the shitty players. I finally just lost it and proceeded to PK both of them, steal all their items, and instantly escape to another area. Everything Nightheart couldn't do, Lizlet could do without a second thought. This was exactly what I came all the way to Ad Cafe for. Fuhihihi. Finally feeling a bit better, I breathed a sigh of relief and went to grab a drink. Ad Cafe had a bunch of all-you-can-drink soda fountains in the reception area. And related to that was the only bad thing about room 37. It was kind of far away from the reception area. When I left my room, the door to the room 36 was open. And naturally, in order to make my way to the front, I had to go past it. I casually took a peek inside as I walked past, but nobody was in there. Come to think of it, I had heard someone get up a moment ago. And although there was no one there, I saw a bag on the ground next to the reclining chair. It looked like a school bag, and there were a few toy straps hanging from it. They were the Garo Froggies, like the one Nanami had shown me yesterday. There were 3 of them in total. I guess they really were popular. Well, whatever. It wasn't like I cared either way. Besides, the person came back and caught me staring. He might have taken me a burger or a thief. Realizing that, I decided to just go get my drink. However, right as I went to leave, my eye caught a glimpse of the text on the monitor and I froze. All thanks to you, Chen. And if that wasn't enough, it was written in the most sickening font, as if it was trying to freak me out. New Chen. I've been deliberately avoiding any and all information about those cases. I really didn't want to know anything about them, and as long as I kept avoiding them, I could keep telling myself that they had nothing to do with me. No, Forget about that. More importantly, the customer next door to me was looking at the site, lining out everything about New Gen. Was it just a coincidence, or did it mean something? For a moment, the face of the demon girl flashed through my mind, sending goosebumps across my whole entire body. I shook my head violently, trying to force those horrible thoughts away. I was just overthinking it. Yeah, I had to be. Nobody was out there to get me. I was just being paranoid. New Gen was pretty much all the media talked about lately. By this point, anyone would be interested in it. That was all it was. Yep, no doubt about it. Anyway, I should just go get my drink ready and then get back to my business. I quickly placed my cup under the dispenser and pressed the cola button. Delicious ice cold cola started pouring out. It was getting dark outside, which meant this place was going to get really crowded soon. There were already a few customers standing by the front desk waiting to be shown to their rooms, and the darker it got, the more people would show up. In about an hour or so, all the rooms surrounding room 37 would fill up. Once that happened, it would be time for me to head home. I took my cup and headed back toward my seat. And on the way, I casually glanced down the hall toward the bathrooms. That's when... It's her. I saw a girl's figure disappear into the corridor. She'd been wearing a Sume uniform and had her glasses on. I recognized her. It was the same girl that was been tailing me this morning. Girl A. I thought I might have been mistaken, so I hid behind some bookshelves and looked toward the corridor for a while, but she never showed up again. Might have just been my imagination. Yeah, it had to have been. I only seen her for half a second after all. This place was typically swarming with Sume girls, and plenty of them wore glasses. But what if it had been girl A? If she was here, what would that mean? Was it just a coincidence, or had she followed me? I was starting to get a little scared. I left the cafe and started rushing back to my base. In the end, my anxiety had been too much to handle, and I left almost immediately after I saw the girl. I wanted to get home as soon as possible, but the crowded sidewalks were slowly slowing me down. I was feeling sicker and sicker by the minute. I hated crowds. I always felt like people were watching and snickering me. A red pedestrian signal stopped me in my tracks. As I waited for the light to change again, I couldn't help but take a quick look around. I didn't see girl A anywhere. As soon as I reached to the top of Dogenzaka, walking got a little easier. Usually I would take the least crowded way back, but after what had happened 2 nights ago, I figured I should stick to the main streets just to be safe. I was stuck at the red light again, so I took another look behind me, but girl A was still nowhere to be found. The girl I'd seen at cafe might have been a different person after all. Feeling a little bit relieved, I let my tense shoulders relax a little, then turned back around. It's her. By the way, for the first playthrough, I'm just going for all positive delusions. I'm just so lazy to think. We'll worry about the order and stuff in later playthroughs, but I just want to see all the positive delusions for now. Oops, I forgot I was supposed to do. Shock. I took a step back. On the other side across the road, standing among the crowd, waiting for the light to change, was the girl. And to make matters worse, the gaze beyond those glasses were clearly pointed straight at me. She didn't even try to look away. Her eyes were so intense. It was as if they were urging me to do something. The pedestrian signal turned green. Girl A and the rest of the crowd started walking forward. She was coming my way. I couldn't move. I was absolutely petrified. She didn't look away from me, not even for a second. She just kept drawing closer and closer. Until she stopped right in front of me. My instincts were telling me to run. Yet for some reason I couldn't move an inch. Felt like my consciousness had left my body. The girl reached out to her hand, reach her hand into her jacket, aiming for one of her inner pockets. Her motion seemed deliberate, as if she wanted me to see what she was doing. Was she going for a knife, a pistol, a stun gun? Maybe I just watched too much TV, but I had a bad feeling that I couldn't shake.
これ
The girl A began to whisper something. The gaze deep beneath her glasses was unflinching. She'd been staring straight into my eyes for what felt like an eternity.
落としましたよ。
は
She held out something to me. A student ID.
さっきのネットカフェで拾いました。追いつくことができてよかった。
I took the ID without much thought. The second I opened it, I saw my own name and photo. The ID was mine.
西条匠くんって言うんですね。
Her expression, which had been stone cold until just a second ago, was now beginning to relax it a little.
すいません。勝手に中身を見ちゃって。私も同じ学校なんです。よろしく。
Well, that was anticlimactic. Guess my paranoia had been screwing with me after all, huh?
ところで、西条くんは付き合ってる人いますか？
いません。
本当ですか？じゃあよかったら私と。
A flag! Time for a new life as a normie to finally begin. A fucking Ryachu, man. Holy shit. This guy's now Ryachu. Fuck this guy. Just kidding. I suddenly snapped out of it. The pedestrian signal, which I thought had turned green, was still red, and girl A, who had been standing right in front of me, was now back on the other side of the street. Had that all been just a delusion? This time, the pedestrian signal actually turned green. All the pedestrians started crossing at once. I couldn't move, and girl A didn't move either. She just stood there staring me down from a distance. We were the only ones standing still, as if time had frozen just for the two of us. Why was that girl in glasses not crossing the street? Why was she just standing there? It was strange. Really, really strange. I need to get away from her. I should just run. I'll just run straight home. Run. Whipping my weak, wilting heart into shape, I broke into a sprint and ran back down Dogenzaka, trying to put as much distance between me and girl A as I could. On the way, I turned to enter a back alley. And right as I did, I crashed into something and toppled over. Pain shot throughout my entire body. I groaned, not fully understanding what had just happened. The pain was so bad I could hardly stand. Looking up, I saw a big motorcycle lying on the ground. That must have been what I'd run it into. I grit my teeth and tried to force myself to my feet, but my legs just weren't able to hold me up. Well, it didn't seem like I'd broken any bones at least.
大丈夫ですか？
Before I knew it, girl A was right in front of me. She was peering into my eyes, to my face, eyes full of concern. What the? Oh, what the hell was up with this girl? My body wouldn't move. Pathetic as it sounds, I was scared shitless. I had no idea what to do. My plan had been to catch a train ride to Shinsen and get home that way, but now I was starting to regret my life choices.
怪我してませんか？
Girl A asked me timidly. Was she acting all worried so I would drop my guard? You wouldn't fool me. I won't fall for your tricks, you greedy wench.
なんなんだよ。
え？
ついてくるなよ。 僕に何の用だ。
Panicking, I lashed out at girl A, who just stood there in surprise. I tried scuttling backward to make some distance, but I was still flat on my ass. If I didn't get away from her, she'd reach into her jacket, pull out a knife, and choke me. That was my thought process anyway. The gruesome scene flashed through my mind over and over. And the lucky thing was that's how I'll end up. The girl hung her head, looking a little hurt.
あの、あなたが急に走り出して様子を見に来たら倒れてたので心配で。でも今は用事とかあるわけじゃないんですが、
It didn't want anything from me. What? That didn't make any sense.
じゃあなんで付きまとってくるんだ。
それは
She was getting flustered. I just couldn't get over how suspicious she was acting.
私、楠木優愛って言います。
Jesus Christ, you could do better than this, man. Nobody asked her to, but she suddenly started introducing herself anyway.
実はあなたのこと一目見てなんとなく存在が気になって。
Man, she's trying so hard.
それでつい。
What? She just instinctively started stalking me? The girl whose name was Yua apparently kept lowering her gaze as she talked.
ごめんなさい。
She bowed her head vigorously. There's no way. That was the only thing in my mind. Taking another look at her, this Yua girl was pretty cute. I had to give her that much at least. But that was exactly why I couldn't trust her. A treaty girl who wanted to interact with me with good intentions? What kind of eroge was this? Eroge. Eroge. I don't know why I'm pronouncing it with a weird accent. Eroge. Anyway. My whole life, nobody had ever said anything like that to me. There was no way I could take her confession seriously. It was just way too out of left field. What did she think I'd be jumping for joy or something? Did she forget she'd been stalking me until just now? Sure, that kind of thing might work in the 2D world, but in real life, it was a certified bone killer. Boner killer, okay. I knew that's why I checked the backlog, because I was like, bone killer? No, there's no way that would be a boner killer. That's right. Also, this whole situation was really embarrassing. All I wanted was to get out of here ASAP. Just talking to her made me anxious. Treaty really was told dog shit.
僕は3次元に興味はないよ。
It's over, Yua. You're never gonna make it. You were beaten by 2D.
いや、め
I always stuttered when I tried to say something harsh, but I had to be clear. Don't follow me anymore. I don't like it.
迷惑だよ。つきまとわないでよ。
すいません。
She sure looked disheartened. Maybe she actually meant it. No, don't fall for it. You can't trust anything about 3D women. You can only trust 2D. You can only trust Sabertan far more than this harlot.
もうついてこないでね。僕帰るから。
As I mumbled incoherently, I tried as hard as I could to stand up, but I struggled. My body was still hurting all over the place. My collarbone in particular was being a real bitch. The pain was making me feel kind of dizzy. I might have hit my head when I fallen down earlier. I almost fell over again, but Yua caught my hand and stopped me.
怪我してるんですね。手貸します。
I tried really hard not to make eye contact, but I could feel my face turning bright red. She'd definitely make fun of me if she noticed, so I turned away and forcefully shook her hand off. My mind was a total blank. I'd hardly, if ever, touched a female before, except family members, of course. My heart was beating out of my
お
chest.
家まで送ります。あなたが怪我したのは、私が付きまとっちゃったせいですから。だから、送らせてください。
I felt really happy when Yua asked me that. I wasn't really used to being treated kindly by others. Every other treaty woman I had interacted with before was utterly vile, but this girl, I was starting to warm up to her a little bit. But I didn't have the courage to look her straight in the eye. I mean, if she hadn't been stalking me, and she might have also been related to the demon girl, and I didn't want to die. All sorts of thoughts flew through my head, but I couldn't focus on any single one of them. My mind was a total blur.
あの、お家どこですか？
深セン。
深セン？
I nodded, before instantly regretting it. Why the hell had I told her that? Was I expecting something to happen if I did? This had to be one of my delusions. Maybe karma had put me on the lucky streak just so it could come to beat me down later. You saw that cliche all the time in anime. This must have been some sort of death flag. Oh god, 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 oh god! Before I knew it, Yu was trying her best to prop me up with her shoulder. Her soft body was tightly pressed against mine, and I could smell a sweet scent coming from her long hair. This couldn't be real. There was no way a treaty girl was being this nice to me.
歩けますか？
I nodded in response.
じゃあ、行きましょう。
Her voice almost sounded nervous. Then, with my head pointed down at the ground, I slowly started to walk. She'd done so much for me at this point, I couldn't turn her down or shake her off anymore. I was out of options. I just had to let her do as she pleased. Leaning on her delicate shoulder for support, the two of us got going. Neither of us said said a word until we reached the building where my base was located. After all, there was no way I could hold a half-decent conversation with a girl, let alone I didn't know. I knew that the second I bring up anime or video games, she'd automatically go, "Ew, what a freak!" Just like every other treaty girl, she wouldn't even bother listening or trying to understand. From my point of view, there was just no point in talking to bitches like that.
ここでもういいから。
That grumble was about all I could muster, and I looked at Yua to make sure she understood it. She gave a gentle nod in response, then removed her arm from under me. I was still a little unstable, but I managed to stay upright.
やっぱり、お部屋までついていきましょうか。
I completely ignored her suggestion and walked toward the lobby. Well, I say lobby, but it was really just a narrow entryway to the elevator hall. Still, the moment I lift my foot to start climbing the small staircase leading up to it, a sharp pain ran through me, and I nearly fell over again.
大丈夫ですか？
Yua rushed over to me to support me. Damn it. Why was she still here?
やっぱり部屋まで送ります。絶対送りますから。
There was something about this, you could feel that this was fucking forced. She sounded almost desperate. I hated to admit it, but Yu has been a huge help, and in the end, she had taken me all the way back to my base. To get there, first we had to go all the way up to the 8th floor, then take a step A steep flight of emergency stairs up to the roof. In my current state, there was no way I could ever possibly manage it alone. Yua wasn't strong in any sense. She was very clearly running on fumes, and yet she had helped me up the stairs as if her life depended on it.
こんなところに住んでるんですね。
Yua was less speechless when she saw my container house. No surprise there. Normal people would probably never believe someone could live in a container.
なんか、憧れます。
え？
アウトローな感じがして、いいですよね。こういうのって。
I never thought she'd say something like that. Was she just trying to flatter me or something? You won't fool me, wench. I'll never fall for 3D girls' tricks. With Yua still propping me up. Excuse me. We walked up to the container door, removed the padlock, and stepped inside. Phew. I was finally back. Today was another total catastrophe. This was why you really couldn't beat staying
真っ
indoors.
暗ですね。電気のスイッチはどこに？
Did she really not have any shame? Just coming into my room like this? I mean, to be fair, she had brought me all the way here on her shoulder. But I really didn't want her seeing the rest of the room if I could help it. I mean, I had dozens upon dozens of figures lined up in my shelves, piles of eroge boxes on my bed, and trash all over the floor.
もういいから、話して。
After I said that, I waited for Yua to let go of me, but she didn't budge.
床、すごく散らかって。じゃなくて、歩きにくいと思うんですけど、絶対危ないです。ソファーまで行きましょう。そこで話しますから。
In the end, I just kept on doing whatever she said. The couch was covered in CDs and magazines. But Yua quickly cleared them out of the way, as quickly as she could while holding me up, anyway. As soon as she was finished, I sat right down. Man, she was just so sweet and caring. Wait, what am I saying? I'm not gonna fall for it. I'm not.
平気ですか？
うん。
The two of us were all alone in the room. It was almost pitch black, save for the tiny bit of moonlight shining through the open doorway. As a result, I couldn't tell what sort of expression Yua had on her face. On the bright side, though, hearing a girl breathing in the dark was pretty hot. Come to think of it, it was the first time anyone aside from my little sister had ever seen my room, which meant it was the first time I had an actual girl up here. If this were a game, then I would have tripped some sort of flag. After that, soon enough, the mood would turn romantic. Before we knew it, we'd be all over each other. That said, I wasn't expecting anything like that. Reality was completely utter shit. It was nothing like the 2D world. And besides, this Yua girl wasn't normal. She was a stalker, so yeah. Wait, why was she still here? How long was she planning on staying? Her job here was done, so shouldn't she be leaving now? That's when it hit me. Wait, no. Her plan to get me alone in an isolated spot, then do something horrible to me.
明かりのスイッチは。
パソコンの。
パソコン？
The only light source in the room was the desk lamp by my PC. I wanted to tell her to turn that light lamp on, but I just couldn't get the words out.
そうか。デスクライトですね。
Desk light.
うん。
Yua carefully made her way over to my computer desk, avoiding all the garbage by her feet, to turn on the lamp. That's a super bright desk lamp, man. The moment Yua turned it on, like the entire fucking container lit up. What the fuck? I don't even my desk lamp doesn't do that. Doesn't do that. What the fuck? Anyway, and then there was light. The darkness had put all sorts of embarrassing ideas and delusions in my head, and now I could see Yua's face clearly. All those fantasies made it hard to look at her in the eye without getting even more embarrassed than I already was. Panic. I couldn't get any words out, so I just kept my head down. She shouted so suddenly that goosebumps shot across my skin. Her gaze was pointed straight at Seiratan figure next to my monitor, was striking her favorite sexy pose.
これってプラチューのセイラちゃんですよね。
知ってるの？
はい。プラチューは大好きで毎週見てます。
へえ。
セイラちゃんがお好きなんですね。私もヒロインの中では彼女が一番好きなんですよ。衣装も可愛いですし。
Her voice was full of joy. She was clearly speaking genuinely. There was no way she was trying to trick me. Who'd have thought? Could Yua be,
不女子。
Pajos. Fuck them Pajos, man. Fuck them. No, I'm just kidding. There's probably... No, just kidding. Literally the meaning of Joe, it means never toxic. Fuck. Wait, I'll be right back. I need to take a short break. I need to check something really quickly. Really quickly. All right. Okay, let's continue. I had to do some research for a bit. I mean, So I mentioned I watched the anime before playing the visual novel, and I was actually curious if you Mia, who's impersonating you here, is actually did like anime and all that shit. Apparently she does. She does. So I was wondering if she was actually into that or just she made like super intensive research and all that, but she apparently does actually like anime. Anyway. So she wasn't faking it here. Let's continue.
あ、うん。
Well, maybe she just like anime.
あれ、フィギュアって言うんですよね。ちょっと見せてもらってもいいですか？あ、すみません。ずうずうしいこと言っちゃって。もう帰った方がいいですよね。
She bowed repeatedly, clearly flustered.
見ていいよ。
Well, I couldn't say I didn't enjoy her laying the praise on my waifu, so might as well be a little nice to her.
本当ですか？ありがとうございます。
Yua took Sarah under her hand and started inspecting her closely.
それは山陽堂版の覚醒前バージョンなんだ。セーラフィギュアはいくつか種類が出てるけど、最初に出たやつ。
へえ。
あんまりクオリティは高くないよ。顔とか微妙に崩れてるし、ポーズも平凡すぎてあんまりエロくないし。
By the way, regarding figures, I don't like figures that you can actually change the poses because they tend to be lower quality compared to the ones that are kind of stuck with a particular pose. I don't know because for example, I was looking into like Girls and Panzer figures and I saw like the versions where you could move their hands and arms versus the static ones, the static poses, and I was like, the quality is like a huge difference, like way so much. But this I think this is a trade-off of being able to move them around versus a little statuette, And let's continue with the read-through.
でも服の胸元部分をキャストオフできるのは今のところそれだけなんだ。
胸元？
ちなみに僕はセーラフィギュアは4種類全部揃えてるよ。そっちの棚に制服バージョンとメイドバージョン、あと水着バージョンがある。
By the way, I think I mentioned this in yesterday's stream. I'm kind of surprised at like the life cycle of how figures were quicker back then compared to now. Like on a seasonal, for like if you watch a seasonal right now, and they announce like a pre-order for it, they release a figure information and have a pre-order for it. It's gonna take I don't know, maybe a year before you could get it. That's so long, and I'm getting the impression like it's the series they're watching is currently ongoing, and they already have 4 figures. They already have 4 figures of the character that's on the current season show, so it's kind of weird for me. I don't know, maybe back then because the market was a little smaller. Was way smaller compared to nowadays where a lot of people internationally have been ordering figures online, so there's a lot more demand and all. Anyway, let's continue.
そんなに種類がすごいですね。
一番評価が高いのはメイドバージョンなんだけど、個人的には水着バージョンも悪くないよ。
そうなんですか。見てみたいですね。でもちょっと暗くて。
もうすぐアルファから待望の覚醒後バージョンが出るんだけど、これはかなりクオリティ高そうなんだ。キャストオフも胸元だけじゃなくてほぼ全身可能だっていうし、表情もポーズも質感も言うことなしだね。あとはカラーさえバッチリなら今年発売されたフィギュアの中でも MVP 候補だよ。
By the way, I had the figure. Nah, I'm still thinking if like okay, this is another side tangent. I'm still thinking about the Kurisu figure that I showed yesterday. I still consider it like the figure of 2023, but I don't know. Some people say the Toho figure is the figure of 2023. I stand on Kurisu's I stand on Kurisu's side. But you know, based on like informal survey, the Tuhu figure was obviously one, but it's the margin between the two, Kurisu and the Tuhu figure wasn't really that huge. So the Kurisu figure was I don't know. I actually like the Kurisu figure. It's nicely detailed. Even like the side piece, the background pieces, you know, the CRT, the microwave. It's very detailed. You can actually, you know, as far as figures are concerned, this is really highly detailed. Even like what they call the small mascot thing, because there's like a small one of those small mascot things. It doesn't look like some shitty thing that they put in the background. Anyway, let's continue reading.
アルファ？
メーカーだよ、フィギュアの。
なるほど。
I'm suddenly realizing what I've done. I clamped my mouth shut. I've been rambling on for way too long. I got out on a tangent about goddamn anime girl figures, removable pieces, sexy poses. I bet I looked like a total idiot to Yua. I wanted to know what sort of face she was making, but I couldn't bring myself to look at her. Either way, though, it was obvious she must have thought I was a total human trash. I started panicking. My heart was beating out of my chest. I tried to avert my gaze as far as I could. But that's when she called out to me, and I reflexively turned back to look at her. Her expression? It wasn't actually full of horror and disgust that I'd expect.
さっき言っていた戦闘バージョンとかメイドバージョンも見せてもらっていいですか？
うん。そっちの棚に。
I was totally baffled. There wasn't a hint of anything on her face other than a wide, bright smile.
すごいですね。こんなにたくさん。
In fact, her eyes were sparkling as she looked at my shelves full of figures. No way. Were there actually 3D women that weren't disgusted by this stuff? You know, back in 2010s. Oh, this was 2008. Yeah, this is 2008. Yeah, holy shit. This is 2008, right? Although Noah's like a recent re-release, but the original Chaos set was like 2008. Anyway, well, you know, you look at YouTube nowadays and you see random women collecting figures. There's a lot of women that have more figures than me. I wonder to myself how they can afford that shit, but you know, I'm not gonna ask that. But there are a lot of women collecting figures nowadays, especially that PhD student. How the hell does she? Anyway, she has an impressive collection, but whatever. Let's continue. I'm being distracted by figures. In fact, figures is one of my otaku hobbies, but it's like I'm taking a sideline. I'm putting it on the side this year. I'm saving up for a trip. I want to travel this year. I wasn't able to travel this year. Last year because of one of the figures. It was the yeah, okay. It was kind of half the figures, half the random art I was buying. But I want to focus on travel this year. Anyway, let's continue. It must have been a 1 in a billion chance, but I suppose there were billions of people in the world.
メイドセイラちゃんってこれですね。ふむふむ。アニメの印象とはちょっと違うけど、すごく可愛いです。下着までちゃんと作り込んであるんだ。こういうの実物で見たのは初めてですけど、いいですね。私も買ってみようかな。
だったら覚醒後バージョンを予約した方がいいよ。あれは絶対おすすめだから。
そうですね。あなたの話を聞いていたら、その覚醒後バージョンは本気で欲しくなりました。 覚醒後って12話のあのシーンのことですよね。
よく知ってますな、お主。かなりのマニアですな。
The translation. I was like, I love the word was mania, and I see the word fan. I was like, okay, man.
はい、好きですから。特にあの時の覚醒シーンは毎日録画したものを見返してます。
Well, to be fair, this is like the overhaul. I don't know. Some people felt like the overhaul was supposed to be better. I don't know. I can't compare the two because I started with the overhaul because a lot of people suggested I start with the overhaul, so I started with the overhaul. But no, maybe it's just weird nitpicking that I'm doing right now.
あのシーンって
Not that I know Japanese.
だからクオリティ高くて当然。
宮地
Bro, don't you check the directors and animators of the show? What are you doing? Don't you appreciate the hard work of the studios and the animation directions and all that shit? I mean, I actually do appreciate, and I picked up some names, but you know, this is I felt this is pedantic. Why am I commenting on this right now?
あの人の演出はマジで神だよ。アットちゃんの実況版でも神来たってなるし。
そうなんですか。
You know, she could have cemented herself in his eyes if she also said that she goes to Ad Channel. I mean, Maxi Kurisu goes to Ad Channel herself, so, you know. I mean, technically Taylor Swift does, but, you know, well, at some point, I don't know if she still does, but I won't be surprised if she still does. A lot of people are. A lot of actors. A lot of, randos and suspicious people, of course. It attracts every kind of shithole in the world. I had to change my sitting arrangement. Anyway, let's continue.
すごく知識が豊富なんですね。
I'm commenting too much.
スタッフが誰かなんてまるで気にしてませんでした。
監督と演出と脚本はチェックしとくといいよ。特に新作なんかはそれを調べるだけで内容の良し悪しが大体予測できるし。
Yeah, it's like Shaft and Shimbo. I mean, if he's actually doing something, or you know, you're waiting for Gen Otobuchi, or you want Kape to be doing the character design, or like what else am I thinking about? There was Kantoku. Recently, I've been thinking about Kantoku because Kantoku. Character designs. There's a lot of adaptations of shows where Kantoku's involved as a character designer. I've been watching a lot of shows involving Kantoku and manga for some reason. Hey, that's cute. Let's actually read. I don't know why I'm commenting a lot.
わかりました。今度からそうしてみますね。
As Yua said that, she turned to face me with another lovely smile. And made the girl smile. I never thought I'd see this kind of eroge stuff in real life, let alone to me. Usually, treaty women, including my little sister, only ever smiled when they were making fun of me. There had to be some kind of a catch. There was just no other explanation. I couldn't forget what Saratan had told me. Till then, you can't trust anyone. Don't listen to anything that anyone says.
こんなこと聞いていいかどうかわからないんですけど。
何?
Yua got all shied out of nowhere. She was looking down and avoiding eye contact.
聞かせてもらってもいいでしょうか。あなたのお名前。
名前?
Now that you mentioned it, Yua had introduced herself to me, but I never returned the favor.
西條匠。
I was a little embarrassed, so I ended up weakly mumbling it out.
西條匠くんですね。 何年
2年。
生？私は3年。私の方が年上さんですね。
Like I said, I'm going full positive delusions for this entire fucking playthrough. We'll get the shit on the later routes. Oh man, I was getting dizzy from how moe that sounded. Could Yua be the kind of Onechan type? Damn it! Trying to seduce me and shit. This woman was dangerous. She must be up to something.
それで西条くんにお願いがあるんです。
Request? Seriously? Oh yeah, I'm having a schizo moment right now.
私、あなたのことが好きなんです。ずっと西条くんのこと見てました。もう見てるだけじゃ嫌なんです。
Yua's face turned bright red. Right after her sudden confession, she abruptly started undressing. I was so bewildered. I could hardly bring myself to even peek at her. But when I did, I noticed she wasn't just taking off her top, but also her skirt. Her underwear flickered in and out of my sight from beneath the hem of her blouse. It was black. Being so bold, despite being clearly embarrassed, sure, it was a huge turn on for me, but things were happening so suddenly, my mind could hardly keep up. It took all my strength just to swallow the saliva that had built up in my mouth. Next, Yua started filling with the buttons on her blouse. She was undoing them one by one from top to bottom. And then, almost as if teasing me, she slowly, ever so softly dropped her blouse to the floor, and for some reason, underneath it, she was wearing a competition swimsuit. It was a high-leg swimsuit. It was skin tight, with the way it pressed on her body. A little bit on her thighs spilled all over the edges. So those dark-colored panties I got glimpses earlier was just actually a swimsuit? Man, how did this girl, this timid, have boobs this huge? And another thing, she didn't take off her high knee socks off. Good job, Yua. That's the right choice. But
私のこと好きにしてください。めちゃくちゃにしていいですから。
な。
I was speechless. It was so pretty strange for a 3D girl to say all this stuff to a guy she just met. No sane girl would do that. Sure, it was sexy, but it wasn't even remotely moe. My sense of reason threatened to completely shatter right then and there. I struggled desperately to keep it contained.
だが断る。
While I was lost in my usual delusion, Yua suddenly had a huge fall and landed flat on her rear. She rubbed her butt while on the verge of tears.
すみません。CD を踏んづけちゃったみたいです。ケース割れたかも。本当にごめんなさい。私きちんと片付けますから。
いいよ。
Just get out of here already. You've done enough. And what the hell was that request you mentioned earlier? Yua started cleaning up the trash and see the cases lying all over the floor. Even though I told her she didn't have to, she looked so apologetic. It was almost made me feel guilty, like I had done something wrong.
じゃあ足の踏み場だけでも確保させてください。すいません。その後でお願い言いますから。
The way she instantly started cleaning up, and thoroughly at that, she reminded me somewhat of my mom. Not caring the slightest about what may cause problems for other people, rushing straight into doing whatever she pleased. You know, the typical meddler. In that case, I should probably start helping her, shouldn't I? We both reach for the piece of trash at the same time. Our hands touch, and we both say, ah. Then we stare at each other's eyes, just soaking in the glow of the moment, right? Wrong. What the fuck do you think this is? Some kind of rom-com? No way in the hell I was helping her. What an asshole to all throughout, man. What an asshole. This guy. This fucking guy. Anyway. Well, in the middle of piling up magazines, Yua suddenly stopped. Her back was turned, so I couldn't tell what she just picked up.
いえ、気にしないでください。
What was she getting so nervous about? This thing about it made me suspicious. Come to think of it, she was essentially ransacking my room at this point. What if she was trying to steal something? Maybe she was thinking that I had so many figures, I wouldn't notice if one went missing. But little did she know, she was dead wrong. I perfectly memorized every single waifu in the shelf. If even a single one went missing, I'd be able to tell in a nanosecond.
フィギュアには触らないでね。
はい。いえ、違うんです。その村中の同人誌っていうんですか？それが落ちてまして、ちょっと中身を見てみたら。
Wait, blooded doujins? Shit, they're a porn!
すごかったのでびっくりしました。
勝手に見ないでよ。
すいません。
Yua began tidying up again, nervous as ever. Shortly after, she quickly cleared a space to sit down, then turned toward me.
それで、さっき言ったお願いですけど。
Finally, I gulped and then instinctively braced myself for impact.
さっき言ったフィギュアの予約、一緒に行ってもらえませんか？私、そういうアニメショップみたいなところって今まで行ったことなくて。で、私、なんだかすごくぶしつけなお願いしてますよね。すいません。私のせいで西条くんが怪我をしたのに。
That was some dangerous territory. I couldn't afford to just blurt out an answer. On one hand, you and I shared interests. Hell, she was even a fan of Sarah. She also seemed very interested in what I had to say, which meant she was someone I could get along as an otaku. But on the other hand, it had to be some sort of trap. There's no way in hell something like this, something so perfect, would actually happen to me in real life. Was it an eroge cliche? Nothing more. I couldn't let 3D corrupt me. Think, Takumi, think. What the hell could Yua's true goal be?
すいません。今のお願いは忘れてください。私、西条くんがいろいろ話してくれるのが、嬉しくて。
Yua sat there, with her head hung low. Pretty much every 3D girl ever was insanely full of themselves. And meanwhile, this girl was remarkably timid. And there was no way a 3D girl could be so pretty and have such a cute personality. Everyone knew that, meaning she had to be faking it. I turned her down. I gathered all my strength, all the power vested in me as a man, and shoot her down. As Yua looked back at me, I saw tears welling up behind her glasses. Wait, was she crying? Was it because I wasn't saying anything? Had I just made her cry? Oh no, give me a break. What a life or death situation. I never experienced anything like this outside of the video games. My heart was pounding out of my chest. I was even starting to feel guilty. They say that women weaponize their tears, but only now that was really starting to ring true for me. Honestly, I had absolutely no idea how to deal with it. I was getting more and more nervous by the second. We can go together, I tried to say, but ultimately I couldn't bring myself to. Because if I did, surely she'd say something like, "Ew, this dumbass actually took it seriously. What a freak." Call it this persecution complex, but that was how I felt. I just couldn't do it.
無理してくれなくていいです。私のわがままに石城君を付き合わせるのは良くないですし。
Her eyes seemed even more wet than before. I saw a single tear dripping out of the corner of her eye.
行くよ。
言ってもらえるんですか？
I had no choice but to nod. I couldn't think of any other way to make her stop crying. Still, it felt like I was stepping right into a trap. Yua seemed incredibly relieved. She took a deep breath, took off her glasses, and wiped away her tears.
断られて当然だと思ってたのに。石城君、ありがとうございます。
Huh? She was thanking me? Seemed like I've been able to stop her from completely breaking down. Maybe I should be the one thanking her. Shit. How did I get myself into such a mess? Goddamn treaty women. You could never let your guard down around them.
行くとしたらいつがいいでしょう。
Hold on. Where the hell had her sad-looking expression gone? Only a second had passed, and she was already looking happy as a clam. Those really were crocodile tears, weren't they? If so, she should win a fucking Academy Award.
セイラちゃんの新しいフィギュアはもうすぐ発売なんですよね。
Man, this is part of her keikaku.
うん。きっとすぐに完売しちゃうだろうね。
だったら早めに行った方が良さそうですね。明日とか。
According to my schedule, I need to go to school tomorrow. Then made it 3 times total this week. Then the week after, I'd only have to go twice. I had a feeling that tomorrow was going to suck even more than usual. But I already told Yuhua that I'd go with her. If I try changing my mind now, she'd start the waterworks all over again. I really have no choice here, huh?
わかったよ。
I was incredibly reluctant, but still I agreed. Yua seemed happy to hear that, but she couldn't fool me with those face of hers.
西条くんは何組？明日放課後に迎えに行きますよ。
B 組。
2年 B 組ですね。じゃあ授業が終わったら待っててください。
I nodded quickly in response, hoping that should make her leave faster. Wait, I just made a promise to hang out with a girl. Was this a dream? A delusion? I pinched my cheek to test that theory. It definitely hurt.
それじゃあ長い間お邪魔しちゃってすいませんでした。足もし痛かったらお医者さんに行ってくださいね。
あ、うん。
I sat on the couch and watched Yua leave. She turned around and waved goodbye, then exited out the front door.
西条くん、また明日。
また明日だってさ。
Bro, it's over. You're no longer part of us, man. Just kidding. What the fuck am I saying?
しかも手を振ったりして。
I felt like I was about to melt with bliss, so I quickly stiffened back up.
あの女絶対僕に惚れてる。間違いないね。ま、付き合うか付き合わないかは僕に選択肢があるわけだし、あの女を情け容赦なく振ってやるさ。
Yo, this guy.
お前は僕の女にふさわしくない。セイラよりいい女になって出直してこい。まあ、一生無理だけどな。何しろセイラは永遠の17歳だからな。みたいな。
There's no way any girl could ever be better than Sarah Tan. I picked up the Sarah figure and rubbed her against my cheek, and Sarah couldn't have looked happier.
おっと、時間か。今のところテストに出るからな。ちゃんとノート書いておけよ。今日はここまで。
By the way, I just realized one huge difference between what I'm seeing in the visual novel and the anime was that in the anime he straight up had like a delusion about Saratan. I mean, Saratan was always talking to him and all that. So in the visual novel he's not delusional enough to have his own tulpa yet. I wish he did. I wish he had the tulpa here, but that's not happening. So yeah. Anyway, let's continue. Wait, sorry, I got distracted a little bit by like the Discord. Anyway.
起立。礼。
The math teacher. Wait. What was his name again? Well, whatever. The teacher left the classroom, and that was the end of class for the day. Some students started chatting about where they'd go after school. Those who were in class gathered with their fellow members and headed for the club rooms, and the rest were just getting ready to go home as soon as possible. I was in the last camp. As soon as the bell rang, I was the first to pack up and leave. But today, I stayed glued to my seat, trying to avoid contact with any of my classmates. My anxiety was killing me. After all, my date with Yua was very soon. Any normal, non-Vidya. Vidya. We use the term Vidya here? Holy shit. Non-Vidya obsessed person would have been losing their mind to have a date with a girl planned. But this was me we were talking about, and I couldn't feel any more depressed. I couldn't relax at all. I was feeling physically sick. This would be the first time I'd ever gone on a date with a girl, so I had no clue what to do. Besides, would Yua even show up? Maybe she'd just been fucking with me yesterday, or she planned to standing me up. She was probably watching for the shadows right now, giggling at how gullible I was. Well, now that I thought about it, that honestly might be better than her actually showing up. Wait, did I really have to just sit around waiting? I mean, I could just blow her off and go home. Alright, it's settled. Time to head home. We were in different grades anyway, so if I cancel our date at the last minute, I never had to see her again for the rest of my life. Fully determined to follow through with that plan, I stood up.
たく、何してんだ?
Out of nowhere, my back fell victim to the hard slap. I knew who was behind me without even looking. The only guy in the class who ever talked to me, none other than Misumi-kun.
お前帰らないのか? いつもならチャイムが鳴ると同時に消えるのによ。俺密かに匠の音速直帰って名付けてたんだぜ。
もう帰るよ。
誰か待ってるとか。
え?
How the hell did he know?
なんだよ、図星かよ。
どうして？
なんだかやけにそわそわしてたからな。教室の入り口をさっきから何度も気にしてるし。
It's good. Either way, I probably shouldn't say anything that would make me stand out too much. Don't you forget, Takumi. You gotta be invisible at the school. You gotta blend in, be like the air.
別に誰も待ってないよ。
そうか？だったら今の間はなんだよ。
それは。
Wait, what the fuck? Fuck. Misumi-kun wasn't a bad guy, but at times like these, he could really get a fucking annoying. Take a hint, FFS. Wait, I actually don't know what FFS means. Excuse me. Sneezing a lot. Still had the cough. Oh, for fuck's sake. No one really. This is the first time I had read this kind of abbreviation, man. Like, I never seen anyone use FFS. Like, they rather spell the whole thing. The fuck?
西条くん
It's over, 2D man. Shivers ran down my spine. I slowly turned my head toward the voice. Yu was standing by the classroom door, looking apologetic. Oh, god damn it, because of Misumi-kun, I lost my chance to escape.
おい、なんだりゃ、どういうことだ？
Misumi-kun looked unusually shocked. In fact, he was literally shaking. He put his arm around my shoulder and gave me a stern look.
おい、タク、どういうことか説明しろよ。お前の彼女か。
違うよ。
How many times have I told you, Misumi-kun? I'm not in the 3D.
だったら何なんだよ。言っとくが、タクの姉ちゃんとかそういうオチは期待してねえからな。引きこもりのくせに何をどうやったらあんないい女と知り合えるんだ。
昨日急に付きまとわれて。
それはつまりあれか、逆難されたってことか。え、この
He put his hand on his chin, pondering for a moment, then he finally let me go.
そうか、世の中には物好きってのもいるんだな。けどタクがまともな性癖を持ってたみたいで少し安心したぜ。
What the fuck?
性癖って、それに彼女とは別に何も。
そうかそうか、頑張れよタク。
Misumi-kun wasn't taking me seriously at all. He just got all excited over his own assumptions, then slapped my back even harder than before. He was so jealous, man. This guy's just jealous. At this point, he was just screwing with me.
安心しろって。お前の女を寝取ったりしねえから。
だからそういう関係じゃ。
ほら、さっさと行けよ。彼女、お待ちかねみたいだぜ。
Misumi-kun ordered me to move, so I stumbled over to Yua. Despite my best efforts, I haven't been able to escape.
迎えに来たの迷惑でした？
いや。
Yes, you fucking are. I turned to look at Misumi-kun, but he just grinned and gave me the finger. Honestly, I couldn't tell whether he was trying to fake a fight or cheer me on. I couldn't deal with the shit any longer, so I decided to just hurry and leave with Yua.
すいません。昨日会ったばかりなのにこんなお願いをしてしまって。
いや。
I was so nervous. I was leaving school together with a 3D girl. Was I a Ryaju now? Or what? I'd always felt like this was all in a completely different world from mine. I never would have thought I'd get to experience something like this. But now, I was feeling the intense pressure of Yua's silence. We're just walking side by side, not even talking, so why was this so stressful? And to top it all off, I really don't know who Yua was, what her goal was, just what did she want from an otaku freak like me?
おとといの。
いや。
She started talking to me out of nowhere, so I got surprised that weird sound I'd made just came out. Yua also seemed really nervous. Her expression was so tense. She was older than me, so how was she still so innocent? How surprisingly moe. Then again, I probably wasn't the best person to be talking about innocence, since I could hardly imagine more than a quick sidelong glance at her. I was too embarrassed to take a proper look at her face. I just couldn't do it.
おとといのブラチュ見ましたよね？
うん。
私一箇所だけいまいちよくわからないところがあったんですけど、すすぶくんがセイラちゃんのピンチに駆けつけてきて助けてくれますよね。でもどうしてすすむくんはセイラちゃんが危ないって分かったのかなって。
Yua, stop speed watching. Could you stop speed watching? But this is, I don't know.
あ、あれは先週の回に伏線があったんだ。セイラの携帯が鳴ってるシーンが一瞬だけ挿入されてて、着信表示で進の名前が出てる。
ああ、そういえばそんなシーンありましたね。
山田はそういう細かい伏線をあちこちに貼るのが好きなんだ。キンゴルでも似たようなことをやってた。
山田くキンゴル？
山田っていうのはブラチューの監督の愛称だよ。で、山田がブラチューの前に監督やってたアニメがキンゴル。
へえ、じゃあ山田さんって有名な監督さんなんですね。
まあ僕は好きな方かな。なんでかっていうと、
Well, I like to see animate like this. Animate like this. This is actually a good replacement to animate. So it sounds like the real thing. The real thing is animate. So you could pronounce it as the same. You could pronounce it in the same manner. It's so cute. Anyway, I've been lecturing you about the various facets of anime when I realized we were already in front of Animate. Time flew by faster than I expected. I let myself get carried away and talk way too much. Well, it didn't help that Yuo was such a good listener. She paid close attention when I shared my wisdom. I couldn't help but want to tell her everything I knew, even though I knew I was falling right into her trap. All this, and yet I wasn't even good at talking. This was the first time I ever felt this way. I was talking out loud, but it felt like I was chatting online. It was a strange feeling.
なんだかドキドキしてきました。先に帰ったりしないでくださいね。
Oh, I'm almost online for 2 hours because I was thinking about whether I should make some dinner or not. If I could skip dinner. I usually intermittent fast, so I only eat 2 meals a day, but I'm contemplating whether I should have a third meal. I'm kind of have a cold, so maybe I do need to eat, but I'm thinking of whether I should at least continue playing until Iwa reveals her true intentions. You know what? Let's continue. I'll keep going. I think the scene wouldn't be too far off from here. Maybe additional 30 minutes or an hour. We'll see. You only got more and more nervous as she went up and spoke to the store employee. It was clear that she was out of her comfort zone, but all I could do was just stand there and watch as she placed the pre-order for the post-awakening version Sarah figure. There weren't any opportunities to escape. Yuo kept anxiously glancing back at me, so I couldn't budge an inch. Right after that, she even forced me to look around the store with her. Yuo was looking all around with a big grin on her face, saying things like, "Wow, there's not enough money in the world to buy all those figures." But even in the face with all that enthusiasm, I just couldn't find it in me to smile back at her. McDonald's. How do you pronounce this? McDonald's hamburgers. I don't know. I prefer the W instead of the M version of this. Anyway, so apparently Yua took the train to school, which meant I had to accompany her all the way to Shinsen Station. She might not look like it, but she was a devious one. All right, she always managed to get her way, all without making herself look even remotely selfish. Clever girl. Talk about the wolf in sheep's clothing.
西条くんって携帯は持ってないんですか?
Yeah, Tai. Then who was found? Okay, that was a weird reference just now. Once we reached the station, he suddenly asked me that question. A cell phone? It shook my head weakly.
持ってないんですか? それじゃ連絡が取れないですね。
連絡?
Why the hell would she want to stay in touch? What? Was she going to demand that I text her about every little thing for the rest of my life?
でも西条くんパソコン持ってましたよね。私も持ってるからメールアドレスを交換しませんか？
どうして？
そのフィギュアの発売日に取りに行かなくちゃいけませんよね。その時にまた一緒に。まだ一人でアニメ8に行く勇気はないから。
She was good.
それに
She was way too good.
私、西条くんと
I knew she had her claws in me, but I just couldn't turn her down. If I did, I'd look like a bad guy.
もっと
3D was the scariest fucking thing in the world.
仲良くなりたいから。
How was she doing this? Was it just because I was bad at talking to people, or was she just too good? Either way, Yua seemed intent on not leaving until she had my email, yet at the same time, I could sense a bit of unease behind those glasses of hers. I could practically feel my will to resist draining from my body. There were goosebumps all over my body, shivers right down my spine, but I couldn't run away, and I couldn't turn her down. There was definitely something up with Yua. The aura she had, it wasn't normal. I couldn't really put it into words exactly what it was that it bothered me so much, but whatever it was, something wasn't right. Before I knew it, I torn off a scrap of notebook paper, written down my email address, and handed it to her. She took it, looking happy as can be, and quickly bowed her head and disappeared into the station. It felt like my soul had left my body. I just stood there, completely dumbfounded. Even after 10 minutes passed, I couldn't move an inch. So, what do you make of all of this? Of her? Because personally, I don't have the slightest clue. There's no way she doesn't have ulterior motives or something. It doesn't make any sense otherwise. Hey, you listening, Grim? What rogue is this? At night, I decided to consult Grim about Yua. I figured I might as well. If I just kept my paranoia on myself, I wouldn't get anywhere. And that was the response I got. Well, not like I could blame him. The first time I talked to Yua, I reacted the exact same way. Well, it's stupid of me to think you would be of any help, Grim. No, wait, a fucking second. You being serious? You actually managed to raise a flag with someone? You really have a way of getting whatever you want, huh? Lol. Now, who said they weren't in 3D again? Into 3D again. It's not like that, dude. Grim's reaction was almost identical to Misumi-kun's. Were they the same person or something? Well, for a turbo virgin like Nineheart, now that you have a girl, which should be easy to leave Otaku behind and lose your V card, you gotta be careful though. Like, if you start talking to her about your swimsuit fetish, she'll dump your ass, so use common sense. What's wrong with the swimsuit fetish? This guy's hopeless. I better do something quick. Oh, out of nowhere, I hear Saratan's voice. That was my custom email notification sound. I casually went to check my email, and the sender's name was Kusunoki Yua.
うわ、早速来た。
I got an email. Just now. Whoa, there it is. This was the first time I've ever gotten an email from a 3D girl. I gulped, then clicked to open it. Let me read this. Good morning, this is Kusunoki. I sent this email as soon as I was able to. I would appreciate if you added me to your address book. My apologies for making you accompany me today. Sorry. Even so, I still had a lot of fun. Perhaps because it is my first time going to a store like that, or maybe it was because Nishijo-kun was with me. Lol. What time will you be coming to school tomorrow, Nishijo-kun? Oh, I'm only asking because I was hoping I'll be able to say hello tomorrow morning, that's all. It would be nice if we could run to each other again tomorrow. When I can't read this, but anyway, good night. Yua's usual elegance appeared shown through the email, and by using a lot of emoticons, she gave a bit of a friendly tone too. But when she said things like, maybe it was because Nishijo-kun was with me, or I was hoping I would be able to say hello tomorrow morning, I just couldn't help but feel like she was up to something. Post it now. It's tame. Chill the fuck out. Just usual greetings and shit. Whatever, bro. Just post it. Post it already. This is a really long black screen. Or maybe because XSS-kun was with me. What time will you be coming to school tomorrow, XSS-kun? Oh, I'm asking because I was hoping I'd be able to say hello tomorrow morning, that's all. It would be nice if we could run into each other tomorrow. Well then, be sure to email you again soon. Good night. Graham wouldn't stop pestering me, so I just gave up and posted the entire email. Though I did censor my name and Yua's personal information at least. Oh ho ho. Would you look at that lovey-dovey email? Kill yourself, Nightheart, you normie scum. Please take this seriously. This must be some sort of trap. Yeah, I'll tie that tinfoil hat you got on. You sure you're not overthinking it? It just looks like you raised a flag with this chick to me. You're almost at the good end already. That's what I mean. There's no way this is real. You think this could happen to an otaku freak like me? There's no way. You think a cute girl would just try to pick me up in real life? Dude, lol. Are you seriously complimenting your GF already? Could you quit trolling for us 1 second? We're two of a kind, aren't we, Nightheart? You both know good girls like that don't exist anymore. Yeah, it's kind of weird because I actually know who the hell Grim is, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of weird thinking about Grim like this. Grim is actually a woman playing as a dude. Fuck. Anyway. Yeah, I was fully aware, but she really was just that nice. And that's exactly what didn't feel right to me. Well, maybe her stalking shit went a bit too far. But that's kind of hot, don't you think? It means she really likes you. And you said she likes anime too? Yeah, no way such a perfect GF exists, bro. Not for us otaku anyway. Just don't go ruining her with your degenerate shit. Well, that might not be too bad. No, scratch that. That was exactly what I wanted. Still, cheer up a bit. She made the first move, bro. I'm not into 3D. You say that, but we both know you really want to go out here. Am I right? If you want to autofocify yourself, now's your chance. You won't get a second one, and you know it. Congrats, you're popular now. Won't last long, so don't let it go to waste. Just keep calm and go on to attack. You be right 900 in real life, you can do it. You got the green light, bro. If I could just do it, I wouldn't be going through so much turmoil. Like, I realized something when I was talking with you the other day. Sure, there was a couple of moments when I had fun and felt happy, but aside from that, I felt annoyed and completely exhausted. If that was what I had to go through in real life interaction, then I honestly rather just live in the 2D world where I could do whatever I wanted. And that was why I decided not to reply to you as email. A fire burned bright into the sky. Scorching red cinders danced around the incinerator. The flame was fueled by sailor-style school uniform, along with countless textbooks. I don't get why you have to burn stuff when you're moving like that. Anyway, on a foothill overlooking the Seto Inland Sea, a girl stood in her home's garden. The steam whistles of boats echoed in the distance, and the nearby trees gently swayed in the refreshing sea breeze. In the midst of a serene scene, the girl, Orihara Kozue, stood still and alone in front of the incinerator, bathing in the somber ambience of the cinders. The girl's gaze was locked onto the school uniform and textbooks as they were slowly being reduced to ashes, each cup becoming clad in a crimson glimmer. Until only yesterday, it had been her school uniform and her textbooks. Despite having lit the fire herself, the girl did not move from the spot, perhaps out of a lingering sense of regret. That, too, lasted only for a moment. She suddenly knitted her eyebrows and covered her eyes as hard as she could. She gasped in agony, and yet she did nothing more. The girl did not moan, nor did she raise any tearful complaints. All she let out was a series of regrets. She shook her head repeatedly from side to side as if to express a fierce visceral objection. And she did. Her strength slowly started to crumble, and she collapsed to the ground. She fell on the backside with a thud. Her jaw drooped as if utterly exhausted, and looked up to the sky with a dazed expression on her face. Minutes later, she was still in that exact same position, not having moved a single muscle, until suddenly she turned around with a conviction, as if she heard someone call out to her. She looked toward the house's porch. The wooden house had been built over 50 years ago, so despite it being daytime, it appeared quite dim. Anything beyond the porch could barely be seen. Kozue slowly stood back up and walked over to the porch, and at that very moment her mother appeared with impeccable timing.
あら、小杖ちゃん、探してたのよ。もう荷物の整理はできたの？
Kozue promptly nodded and slowly sat down.
あさってにはもう、この家ともお別れなのね。
Her mother took a seat next to her, gazing toward the inland sea with a gentle look in her eye.
東京なんて行くの、小杖ちゃんは初めてよね。いいお友達ができるといいわね。
Despite her mother's caring words, Kozue did not nod or even shake her head in the response. She simply remained silent, dizzily whistling toward the still burning incinerator in the corner of the garden. Another week came, and with it, another school day. As usual, I headed to school with my head hung low, depressed as ever. Autumn was starting to come into full swing. The leaves of the trees of the Shoto Park was slowly changing color. I was starting to feel chilly in my short-sleeved uniform. Wait, I thought they were all wearing blazers. Anyway, supposedly it made sense that I'd be surprised by the change of season, given I rarely went outside in the first place. I still hadn't really registered that the sun ended. My weekend had consisted of non-stop ESO. Grandpa kept on bugging me about Yua, but I just ignored him. I hadn't gotten an email from Yua since the first one. I hadn't replied to her in the first one either, so maybe she'd finally given up on me. I really hoped that was the case. Whenever I talked to Yua, my feelings always got all jumbled up. Those interactions almost made me have a little hope. But there was no point in being so optimistic. At the end of the day, I was just an otaku freak. My whole life, I never had any success with 3D, so I just given up on it. Please, don't give me any hope. Please, don't have any hope for me. Just as I thought that, someone tapped my shoulder from behind. I figured it was Nanami or Mitsumi-kun. But when I turned around, I was shocked.
西条くん
Yua was looking at me with a smile on her face. Her cheeks were a little flushed. Why was she out of breath?
後ろ姿が見えたからもしかしたら西条くんかなって思って走って追いかけちゃいました
Had she really not given up yet? Did she still have hope left in me?
おはようございます西条くん
うん
やっと言えました土日を含めて4日もかかってしまいましたけど先週メールを送ったんですけど読んでもらってます
Found myself nodding out of reflex.
よかった返事がなかったからてっきり届いていないかと思って何度か送り直そうとしたんですけど我慢しておいて正解でした
Seriously, what the hell did Yua want from me? Did she expect me to like her back? Did she want me to be her boyfriend? And then, did she want us to live out some intimate lovey-dovey fantasy together? There was no way I could do that. No way I could be that normal. No matter how hard I tried, I really wanted to, but it just wasn't possible. I still didn't understand why Yua even liked me in the first place, which made it all the more impossible to trust her. So I just couldn't do it.
西条くん どうしたんですか？
え
ずっと立ち止まってるので。
On realizing that, I quickly started to walk away, leaving Yua behind. Before I could get very far, Yua had already caught up with me.
昨日西条くんのクラスに行ったんですけど、いませんでしたよね。もしかして風邪でもひいて休んでるんじゃないかと思って心配だったんです。でも元気そうでよかった。
たまにしか。
はい。
僕たまにしか学校来ない。みんなから引きこもりって思われてる。
Did that break the spell? You're totally disillusioned now that you know the truth, right? If so, I don't mind. I didn't mind. I never got my hopes up anyway. Go ahead and call me an otaku freak. And then after that, never talk to me again.
そうですか。でも今日は会えてよかったです。
I was left speechless. All I could manage to do was stare at you and smile, but when our eyes met, I got flustered and looked down. How was she not disgusted by me?
っていうか、たまにでも学校に来てるなら、西条くんは引きこもりじゃないと思います。すいません。分かったようなこと言っちゃって。
でも苦痛だよ。
だとしたら偉いです。
I never thought I'd hear someone say something like that, say that to me. What the hell was respectable about a total loser like me? A gentle smile had spread over Yua's face. A smile so sweet that it could cure any disease. That was generally what I thought in that moment.
だって西条くんは辛いのに頑張って学校に来ていますから、普通なら普通は来られないですよ。
でも僕はオタだしキモいし。
私西条くんの話を聞くの好きですよ。
What the hell? What was it with this validation? Why did hearing it make me feel so good about myself? It felt like you was embracing me, all the way down to my core. Like she was giving me the right to be here, to exist in this moment. It felt like when I was with her, maybe I could even be a normal person again.
大変予例ですよ。
I hadn't realized until now, but almost all of the students were already gone. Everyone had made their way into the school building.
西条くん、それじゃあ私失礼します。あ、今日の放課後時間ありますか？もしよかったら一緒に帰りましょう。
With a timid tone, Yua mumbled her words, a faint blush on her cheeks.
放課後中庭で待ってます。もし気が向いたら来てください。あ、無理に来なくても全然平気ですから。失礼します。
Yua bowed elegantly, then darted off toward the third-year classrooms. I watched her disappear into the building, then I pinched my cheek. It really wasn't a dream or a delusion. I couldn't focus in my classes all day after that. Or rather, I didn't bother trying to focus. I just rested my hand on my head, staring sluggishly into the autumn sky outside the window. Oh, he has the MC window seat. Anyway, my teachers, my classmates, none of them ever paid attention to me. But Yua did. Yua was different from the other shitbags at this school. I couldn't stop thinking about her. I couldn't stop having delusions about her. Before I knew it, classes were over for the day.
よ、タク。今日もデートか？この前のメガネのことはうまくいってるんだろうな。おいおい、ニートだからって躊躇してんなよ。向こうがお前のこと気に入ってくれてんなら、付き合うか付き合わないかはともかく、やっちまうのが礼儀。
そんなことしないよ。
おい、なんだよいきなり大声出して。
岩とはそんなことしない。
は？お前まだ言ってんの？なんで最初から諦めるんだよ。そろそろ引きこもりから卒業しようぜ。
僕は 引きこもりじゃない。
And that wasn't even what this was about. But there was no point in trying to explain to Misumi-kun, a guy who only thought of with the wrong head. So ignoring how puzzled Misumi-kun was, I quickly made my way out of the classroom. The shortest path from here to the courtyard is through the skyway to the third-year building, then down the stairs, I think. I didn't come to the school often enough to have a good grasp of the layout. I didn't even know where the half of the club rooms were, so I was a little bit anxious as I walked down the hallway to the next building. As I walked, I noticed a girl standing alone in the middle of the hall, staring up at the sky. Her face looked stiff, so despite her looking out at the window, it wasn't in the wistful kind of way. She was obviously in everyone's way, but she didn't seem to care in the slightest. I know you can hear me walking toward you. Move along, will you? I'm in a bit of a hurry, too. I was getting real DQ and vibes from her, and I didn't want anything to do with it. So I tried keeping my distance, slip by girl B without getting noticed.
Oi.
I know this voice. I know this voice. This voice can only be... Oh shit. Was she talking to me? Fuck. Was she going to threaten me and take all my money? Or take me to the DQN hangout spot and have me lynched just because she didn't like my face? Or worse? Give me a fucking break. What have I ever done to deserve this? I looked toward the girl B. She was staring at me.
お前誰だ？
It's literally Kazusa. I actually noticed she has the same VA as Kazusa, but she's literally using the same Kazusa voice. She did it White Album too. This is literally the Kazusa voice. I'm happy. I'm happy hearing this voice, man. I'm always happy to hear Kazusa's voice. Did she just ask me that? I knew she Takumi, but this is the first time I ever spoken to her, so obviously she wouldn't know that. So I was right. Whatever she wants from me, it can't be good.
すいません。
I quickly bowed to avoid looking girl B in the face, then ran away as fast as I could. After bolting through the hall, down the stairs, and out of the door, I shot a look behind me at the third-year building. It seemed like the scary girl hadn't come after me. I was safe. To be completely honest, I was getting tired of all this bullshit. Whenever I went to the third dimension, I was always running into a goddamn trap. I took a second to catch my breath, then looked for the courtyard. The courtyard was between the school building and the pool. It was so narrow, it was more like a path than an actual garden. There were a few evenly spaced flower beds spread across the courtyard. The violet-colored flowers were especially eye-catching. What kind of flowers are those, I wondered, but I didn't really have a clue. And standing in front of the flower beds was none other than Yua. She stood still, gazing at the flowers listlessly. Just like she promised, she really waited for me here. She waited for me, and me alone. Yua hadn't betrayed me. Maybe I could trust her. Maybe she really was the savior I've been looking for. Yua looked up and noticed me standing there. And a moment later, her eyes widened. I got shy and looked away, frozen in place. Should I walk toward her? I didn't know. Why was she so surprised? Maybe I shouldn't have come. But as I wasn't lost in thought, Yua ran over to me.
びっくりしました。
え？
西条くんが本当に来てくれるなんて、どうせ来てもらえないって諦めかけてたんです。でも待っててよかった。
I was taken aback. Yua was thinking the same way as me. We both had the same pessimistic mindset. But there was one clear pattern that we differed. Wait, what was that? One clear place that we differed. I knew I read that wrong. Whenever I had negative thoughts, I'd freeze up and do nothing. But whenever Yua had negative thoughts, she'd take action anyway. I seriously respected her initiative. I wanted to be like that too.
一緒に帰ってくれますか?
She timidly asked me, and I nodded in response. Walking side by side, the two of us passed through the school gate. It was a little embarrassing. It felt like other students were staring daggers at me, green with envy. And the more aware of that I became, the more anxious it got. I guess I was right. I really can't walk home alone with a girl. That guy, it's the agent, the quote unquote police guy, the quote unquote agent guy. Anyway, crossed the paths with a teacher I'd never seen before, or at least I assume he was a teacher since he was wearing a suit instead of a school uniform. But was he a little young to be a teacher? Well, I hardly ever come to school, so it only made sense that I wouldn't know what half of the teachers looked like. Hell, sometimes I even forgot what my own teacher looked like. The teacher in the suit was looking around restlessly as he headed for the school building.
どうしました？
Not knowing how to react, I quickly shook my head and returned to Yua's side, then went back to walking with her. Okay, here we are. We're close to the reveal part. When we said we walk home together, but my base was only 10 minutes from school. Meanwhile, Yua needed to go all the way to Shinsen Station, so I needed to accompany her before I could go home. But by force of habit, I led Yua to Shoto Park. The park was something of a shortcut to my route to school, saving me about a minute each way.
西条くんって朝よくこの公園でパンを食べてませんか？
うん。
How did she know that?
やっぱりよく見かけたんです。でもいる時といない時があって、今日ようやくその謎が解けました。学校にたまにしか来ないからだったんですね。あ、別にそれがダメって言ってるわけじゃなくてですね。素朴な疑問だったので。
Yua suddenly stopped, turning toward the bench I always ate breakfast on. Nobody was sitting there at the moment.
なんだかここに座っているあなたの背中はすごく辛そうに見えて。
Yua bent forward slightly, gently stroking the back of the bench.
何度も見かけるうちにだんだん気になってきて。
The bench was right in front of the fence by the pond. Whenever you sat on it, you could just stare out at the pond without needing to worry about whether others might be looking at you. It was right by the watermill too, making it even more inconspicuous. That was another huge plus.
ここ最近は姿を見かけなかった日は心配でご飯も喉を通らなかったりしてたんです。
Really? I never noticed her looking at me when I was here.
バカみたいですよね。一度も話したこともない人の心配してるなんて。でも話しかける勇気もなかったので。
So her initial stalking was an extension of that? Or, maybe not stalking per se. Maybe she'd just been looking out for me.
ちょっと座ってみてもいいですか？西条くんがどんな景色を見ていたのか、私も知りたいから。
I didn't really have much of a reason to refuse. I nodded my head, still facing out toward the lake. Yua placed her bag on top of the bench, quietly took a seat. She then straightened her posture and gazed out at the lake. It was so incredibly quiet, so incredibly serene, and Yua was sitting right by my side. A gentle breeze drew ripples on the water as it slowly swayed Yua's hair. Was this what it felt like to be a normie? The situation was so ordinary, so casual. So why did I feel like I was about to cry?
ここで朝食をとるのって気持ちよさそうですよね。
I looked at the side of Yua's face as she whispered that. If life was an eroge, this is where she confessed her love. Then we'd lean in and kiss, and the good end credits would roll. And who knows if that situation called for it? Maybe we'll get straight into some exhibition joke.
私も今度やってみようかな。
Yua turned and looked at me, unable to find the words to say. I looked down at Yua's bag. Cursing my inability to maintain eye contact with a girl, I stared instead to the tree Garo froggy sass hanging from her bag. Hold on. Wait a minute. Something about this scene was really nagging at me. And that thing was the Garo Froggies. Characters that were popular with high school girls. But I'd seen those exact ones beforehand, and where though? Oh, that's right. Nanami had one attached to her cell phone. That's what I was thinking about. Yeah, it was perfectly normal. What did I think was so strange about it? I was just paranoid over nothing. I'm so stupid. I wonder if I took the negative delusion. This leads to the same exact scene in the anime, as he realizes the tree Garo Froggies is the same one from the person sitting next to his room and at the ad cafe thing. But we'll see how this goes. I actually don't know how this goes in the VM. Nanami that say the Garo Froggies were super popular with high school girls. So really, it should come as no surprise that Yua had some too. Yep, nothing out of the ordinary here. Not even slightly. Sometimes having such a big imagination really sucks. And with how terrifying my delusions could be, it got so much worse.
西条くん
Yua was looking at me, cleaning her head in confusion. Not knowing how to reply, I just forced a smile.
それ本当に流行ってるんだなってゲロカエルン
Huh? What kind of reaction was that? Why had her expression turned so stiff? Had I said something wrong? All I'd done was mention Garo Froggies as a conversation starter, nothing else. So, then, why? Why had her smile, that gentle smile that she had this entire time, suddenly vanish? Why did she hang her head, as if she didn't even want to look at me? I couldn't tell what kind of expression she was making anymore. It all gave me a terrible feeling that I just couldn't shake. When I first laid eyes on those three Garo Froggies hanging from her bag, I've been hit by a massive sense of deja vu. Looking back, I guess my instincts were right. I had seen those three Garo Froggies somewhere before, and now that I mentioned them, Yua was freaking out. Suspicion slowly crept through my head until it completely took over my mind. I wanted to trust Yua, but I didn't know if I should.
ゲロカエル西条くんも知ってるんですね
Her voice lacked the least bit of composure.
本当に大人気ですよね私もあんまり可愛いとは思わなかったりするんですけど何人かの友達からもらっちゃって気がついたら3つになってまして
The more Yua spun her tail, the more artificial it felt. She wasn't looking at me. She didn't even try to. Her smile was gone, even though until that very moment she was been gentle and so sweet. I started to feel dead inside. Please don't say any more, I begged inside my head.
見せてあげましょうか
Yua reached out to her bag, trying to take a Garo Froggy sass off of it.
ちょっと待ってくださいね
Her hands were trembling. She was frankly trying to pull them off of her bag, but they just wouldn't bulge.
変だなどうして外れないんでしょう
Bulge. Why am I saying bulge?
絡まっちゃってるのかな
It's time for the reveal. The Schizo reveal. I actually have the soundtrack for a Schizo reveal right now. Oh wait, there it is. I'm ready for a Schizo reveal. Yua pulled on the straps a bit too hard, causing the bag to fall off the bench. The bag was unzipped, so all of her notebooks and textbooks spilled out onto the ground.
私ったら何をやってるんでしょう
Just a few minutes ago, I might have even thought of you as dizziness as Moe, but at the present moment, I just frozen in place. That was because one of the fallen notebooks that flip open, tons of notes and newspapers that were scattered across the ground. looked like it was some sort of scrapbook. And all the notes, all the newspaper snippets, everything was focused on a certain string of cases. And its name was written there, clear as day. New Gen.
なんて
My voice came out ragged. You, in a panic, started frantically gathering everything up and shoving it back in her bag. Once she did, she held the bag close to her chest and stood up. She looked toward me and nodded. Her expression intensely uncomfortable. Her smile from before was nowhere to be found.
それは
You wouldn't answer. Why wouldn't she talk to me? Please, just say something. Anything. Even still, she said nothing, which meant she must have realized she had been caught red-handed. I wanted to trust her so badly, and I'd just been starting to think that maybe Yua was actually on my side, that she could have been an ally.
誰も信じちゃダメ。誰の言葉にも耳を傾けちゃダメ。
In the end, Sarah was right. Greedy girls were the worst pieces of shit imaginable, every last one of them. Yua never liked me at all. She only wanted to get closer because she had ulterior motives. Maybe she wanted to turn me into the police, or maybe she wanted to blackmail me. God damn it. God fucking damn it. I'd almost forgotten all about that incident, and yet here we go again. The police had never questioned me, so I thought that maybe, just maybe, I could go on pretending it had nothing to do with me. All I wanted was to get away from those stupid murders. So why? What the hell was Yua really after here? No, I didn't care anymore. I just wanted to run as far away as I could, so I went to turn around. But Yua quickly grabbed my wrist. Her voice sent chills down my spine. Her tone was so cold. It felt like my body might freeze over. It didn't even feel like she was the same person. It wasn't the Yua I thought I knew. And her grip. Her grip was way tighter than I expected. It wasn't normal. Jolts of pain ran through my arm. My bones felt like they were being crushed. I tried to shake her off me, but she wouldn't let go. In fact, she was pulling me toward her, practically pinning my arm behind my back.
逃げるの。
From behind me, right by my ear, I heard a whisper that crushed any emotion I had left. With a shiver, I slowly turned around. She was staring right at me. There was no longer any color left in those eyes of hers.
逃がさないよ。騙してたことは謝るけど、お互い様だし。あなただって隠してたことあるよね。
I'm hiding things? Only a single thing crossed my mind. Somehow she knew that I had witnessed the staking murder. She knew that I had seen the perpetrator, and that was the most likely why she tried to get close to me. I knew she was good, too good. She had wrapped me around her little finger. Everything she told me was a lie. Her staking interest in me from just one glance, her liking Bloodtoon, her arranging to go with me to pick up Sarah post-awakening version figure from the store when it went on sale. All her nice little comments, she listened to what I had to say. Her wanting to get to know me better. Her being worried about me when I didn't come to school. Her saying that she respected me. Everything that came from her mouth had been a lie. That thought killed me inside. I was overwrought with grief. I tightly clenched my fists. Fuck. Why had I believed a single fucking thing she'd said?
本当はもっと時間をかけて調べたかったんだけど、バレちゃったからしょうがないよね。あなたに聞いてもらいたい話があるの。聞いてくれるよね。聞かないなんて言わないよ。あなたは聞くべき。聞いて。聞くでしょ。聞かないなら。
What will happen if I don't listen? You was almost completely a different person now. The gentle, carefree atmosphere from before was completely gone too. She felt completely unapproachable now. The atmosphere felt bizarre, like one molded from others of obsession. Her tone was as composed as it could be, though perhaps cold as ice was a better description. Her usual femininity was completely gone. No, I don't want to listen. I tried to cover my ears, but I couldn't. He was holding on to one of my arms. Her grip was weaker than a second ago, but she didn't let go. I couldn't move my hand. And while we were in that deadlock, she took a dark gray shiny object from her bag and held it out to me. I was petrified. My heart skipped a beat. Any composure I had left was gone. I was so shocked that the hand that was going to cover my ear just fell to my side. Before long, Yua's voice, all sounding almost regretful, reached my ears.
この十字架に見覚えあるよね。
Of course, I'd definitely seen it before. I wasn't sure what it was at first, but I quickly realized. It might have looked like a cross, but it was in fact a stake, and stakes that with such a unique shape were not something you'd see every day. Or, at the very least, I'd only come across them once. A night, scattered across that alleyway. That night, as the demon girl nailed them into the wall. That night, as the corpse being nailed onto the wall.
やっぱり知ってるのね。知ってるんでしょ。知ってるに決まってる。知らないなんて言わせない。知ってなくちゃおかしい。知ってるよね。知ってるよね。
I frantically shook my head in denial. A disgusting cold sweat broke on my brow, and all I could do was wipe it away as I kept shaking my head as hard as I could.
これあなたの部屋にあったのよ。あなたの部屋、ベッドの下、床に落ちてた。落ちてたの。落としたよね。それとも捨てた。とにかく落ちてた。落ちてたの。
Who the hell was this girl? When the fuck did she search my room? Was it on the day we first met? When my leg got injured and she come all the way to my room with me? When she seen my sailor figures and had her face lit up all cute like a fucking Christmas tree?
この杭、外国製のすごく珍しい杭なのよ。それとニュージェネ第3の事件で使われた杭と同じ。同じなの。同じよね。同じなのは間違いない。同じよ。遺体を壁に貼り付けにした杭と同じ。
I was convinced. This woman thought that I was the culprit behind the new gen. She thought I was some kind of insane cutthroat murderer. Did she think she was a detective or something? What did she call herself? Kusunoki Yua, Ace High School Detective or some shit? Fucking kill yourself, actually. That shit might have worked in an anime or video games. But this was real life, and little did she know her reasoning had a fatal flaw. I knew who the real killer was. I'd seen her with my own two eyes. I'd seen that demon myself. Sure, I didn't know her name, but she'd been wearing the Sume uniform, which meant she was someone I could know.
だから
Yua suddenly swung her head and let out a small sigh. She loosened her grip on my wrist even more, then finally let go.
それ以上でもそれ以下でもないです。ただ、あなたが知ってるかどうかを確かめたかっただけ。本当はまだ言うつもりじゃなかったですし。
What the fuck did she meant by yet?
それじゃあ、もう一つ確認させてください。あなたには予知能力がありますか？
は？
I couldn't help but stand there with my mouth open. Precognitive powers? What the fuck? What did that have to do with the incidents? I tilted my head to the side, utterly perplexed. As I did, Yua's hand retreated into her bag once more, before taking out a picture printed in full color.
予知能力があるって思わなきゃ納得できないような画像データをあなたが持っていたから。
The picture was that grotesque one Shogun had sent me. Why did Yua have it?
これ
あなたはどうしてニュージェネ第3の事件の再現画像を持っているんですか？しかもこの画像が流出したのは事件の前日です。あなたの使った PC にキャッシュが残ってました。
違う。
I got in that image earlier the day when I chatted with Shogun. I hadn't made it myself. I downloaded it, so it must have been in my history. That's it. I'll just show Yua that. So though, how had Yua gotten this image in the first place? She said she had been in my computer's cache, but how would she have known that? When Yua come to my room, she definitely hadn't had the time to snoop around my
ま
PC.
さか君が将軍か。
Was she trying to frame me? It was all set up by Yua. She was the new gen killer, and now she was going to use me as a scapegoat in order to throw up the police, wasn't she?
助けて。
It was all too much. Why did it have to be me of all people? Was it because I was a freak? Was it because I had no friends? Yua didn't say a word. She just shook her head lightly.
その画像はアットカフェルーム37の PC から拾ったんです。あなたの PC もできれば調べたかったんですけど、その機会はさすがにありませんでした。
Room 37. That was the one I always use. This bitch really did her research. Yua looked at me with a slight apologetic look. It almost felt like she turned back to the Yua I knew, if only for a moment. And while that happened, she started fishing in her bag once more, but this time she took a page with a text on it and held it out to me. I had a bad feeling about this. Alarm bells were about to go off in my head, telling me not to look. But there was no way I could ignore it, because if I did, then I'd surely end up being framed.
それがあなたのすべてです。
What? What the hell is that supposed to mean? Did that mean she had all my personal information too? Was Yuho some sort of a hacker? I reached out and grabbed the printout, all while my heart was pounding out to my chest. But to my surprise, the page didn't have my personal information. It was just some chat log. The two members of the chat log were Reinhardt and Shogun.
そのログ変ですよね。
What was strange about it? Looked like a perfectly normal chat log to me. I never remembered having this conversation with Shogun.
ナイトハルトと将軍の発言時間が全然噛み合ってないんです。
Huh? What the hell? How is this possible?
そこにあるナイトハルトは西条君。発言時間は9月28日の午前3時だ。そして翌日、あなたはアットカフェに行ってます。西条君がアットカフェに行くのは学校帰りと決まってる。そして学校に行くのは週に 2.5 回。あなたのクラスメートから聞いたんですけど、先週あなたが学校に来た日は月曜日、水曜日、木曜日。先週の月曜日は9月29日。将軍の発言時間と同じ日です。
What? What was she talking about?
ルーム37の PC のチャットログを調べさせてもらいました。そこから分かったことは。
For just a moment, Yua hesitated. Then stared straight at me, before breaking the cold, unfeeling truth to me.
あなた一人の自作自演。
Don't look at me.
将軍。
Konaide. Listen, Shogun.
あなた自身。
何も見たくない。何も聞きたくない。時間は一定じゃない。記憶には矛盾がある。視界にはエラーがある。地球は回ってない。これはきっとゲームなんだ。
I stuffed my mouth with some fish sausage as it turned on my PC.
僕じゃない。
Wait, I have to end stream now. It's actually 10:51. I was supposed to. I'm actually contemplating whether I should still cook dinner. I'm actually not hungry. I could probably go on not having to eat dinner. Maybe I could continue. I'm actually feeling it right now. Ooh. Might be good. All right, let's continue then. Maybe for 10 minutes. It's I'm almost about to reach 3 hours here. I might as well just even it out. Before long, my monitor shone brightly with my Saratan wallpaper.
僕がいるべき世界は
I went straight to ESO and opened it out without ounce of hesitation.
ここじゃないんだ。
Oh. Oh, you know what? I'll just send it here. When I saw like chapter 1 over, and I was like, you know, this is a good way to end it. So, you know, I'll end stream here. That was a little fun. All right, so I'll continue stream again tomorrow. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.